on the Tennessee River, me and Danny, and we are gonna go do a little fishing, a little camping, a little blasting, and see what all we get into this weekend. So it's a Friday, we've worked all day, so we're about to launch the boat and see what happens. So we have made it out on the water. Absolutely beautiful sunset out here this evening, and we're hunting around for a good camp spot. We got a couple areas that we found on a map, so we're just kind of idling around, checking it out, seeing if we can find the best spot possible right now. All right, so right now the struggle is to find somewhere big enough to camp that's not mud, which has proven to be a little bit tough because a lot of this shoreline is underwater that's normally gravel poking out, so we're having to do our searching. 89 degrees, man, that water's warm. 16 foot coming up shallow. All right, Danny's located us a spot. A lot of mayflies down here, but he's thinking this grass will be a little better to lay on, which I agree. It's not a sloped up there either, so it's still really close. It's only about, what, 10 feet from a rock. Maybe 15. All right, so we got our little tent set up, got a little fire going. You cannot see them in the video, but around this greenery and trees is swarming with mayflies, which is pretty normal down here. Danny is purposely trying to bring them in, not sure why. There's fish jumping. We got a nice little fire going here finally. It's actually been pretty rainy around here lately, so it's a little damp, but we got it rolling, and hopefully that smoke will just put some of these bugs away. Alright guys, so we were sitting around and chilling. We've got a fishing pole cast out, and we heard a little rustling. We're camped up kind of next to about a 15 foot, 20 foot bank, and we heard an animal rustling around up top. Didn't really think anything about it, and it went from on top of this 20 foot bank to dove towards us, kind of missed us and hit our tent. So we are currently lit up and looking around, but we don't really see much. So now we're debating on what we want to do. All right, so that was an abrupt cut to the video. So obviously in the video, it all kind of came to a weird spot. So we were trying to make decisions on, do we stay? Do we leave? Do we find another spot to camp? What was it? Why did it jump at us? All that different stuff. So basically at that point we said, okay, some time had passed. Probably, I don't know what.
We were probably looking around for, I'd say about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, probably 10-15 minutes. And so whenever this animal jumped, it got tangled up in our tent. And that gave us enough time basically to turn around. But we didn't have any lights on, just like the glow of the fire, so we couldn't really see much. I could see a little bit more than Danny, just because the way my chair was turned. Whatever it was, moved like a cat and was large. I'm guessing 500, 600 pounds.
Yeah, at least.
No, it was maybe 40
Yeah, I'd
to
say-
60 pounds,
I'd say yeah, 40 to maybe 55.
something like that.
Yeah.
It was jet black. From what I could see, it was obviously dark outside, but it looked really dark in color and took off and like made 3 bounds and it was gone. So I didn't have a lot of time.
Yep.
So kind of going backwards in the video. So how we got to this point, normally we would have shot out the rest of the video, had some more footage the next day, all this kind of great stuff, but just wasn't coming together. So I had basically called Danny for a spur of the moment. Let's go to the river, shoot some footage of fishing, camping, eating, all the stuff that I love to do. So that's exactly what we did. We met up out there on a Friday night, and we headed south on Tennessee River. Went, I don't know, a good hour,
Yeah.
probably an hour south, hour and a half south, I don't know. And so as we're driving south, we found what we thought was a great spot, which I can pull up on my phone. So I've circled a spot of where our tent was, kind of where my finger is pointing, and the bank right there is where the animal jumped from. So back to the story. So we are cruising down through there. Danny kind of spots an area. The issue we were having was we had a lot of rain. So Tennessee River / Kentucky Lake is man-made. They hold a lot of water there. So they were holding back water. So it raised the lake level, I would guess, 2 or 3 feet. Well, when it does that, it covers over all the camping spots. So we were very limited. So basically he sees a spot. We're like, hey, it's a great spot. It was kind of the only spot I think we had seen that was even doable.
Right.
And so that's what kind of led us to set up that spot. So now skipping back past when this animal has dove on us, and you can account your take of it too. I know you had a different perspective than I have. Obviously I wasn't rolling footage. We were kind of done for the evening. We had caught a fish, we had ate some steak, we had hung out. Like, it was just a really good night. So we were kind of done in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, leading up to it is just a normal little fishing camping trip. We had set up the tent, had the steaks going, ate it. We think maybe the steaks had possibly lured this animal here. We also
Right.
had an idea of the way it was shaped. It was a little bit of a cliff down into a holler, and we thought maybe we were near its den.
Right. That's a good point too. We talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah, and it was we were just sitting around. We, like Matt said, we were winding down for the evening, and we'd heard a little bit of a noise behind us. I kind of like, hey Matt, you hear that? He's like, I don't hear anything, and it wasn't anything, something small. And we heard it again, and it was a little bit louder this time. And so it was happening often enough over the course of like a good minute and a half that we were starting to look back towards it. And like Matt said, he was angled more towards the bluff, and I was looking out more towards the water.
And it was very quiet. What we were hearing, we were equating that to a bird, a chipmunk, a squirrel.
Yeah.
It was very, very light. Turns out I think that was the animal kind of just like sneaking up on us. For whatever reason, it wanted to get to us, so definitely, because the way it jumped from that bank and was diving towards us. And in essence, we believe it thought our tent was solid. We thought it was, I think the animal believed it was going to bounce from up on the bank, the little bluff, to the tent to us. But then the tent gave way, so it ended up tangled up in the tent.
Yep.
Thank goodness, because otherwise, who knows? I might would have had some new scars.
We've been wrestling.
That's right. We'd have won, but I'd have probably took some damage.
When it jumped, and so like I said, my back was to the tent completely. So I hear a crashing noise, and Matt kind of had a little bit of a head start. He had seen this feline type creature.
I saw the jump.
And it landed, and so I hear a crashing noise, so I'm leaping up. Matt's already up. Matt's got his knife out, and he's already got a stick from the fire with like a fire on it, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, it's exactly right, because I was carrying, I carry a 40 a lot of the times. I had carried that, but it was on my boat.
Yep.
I didn't feel the need to have a sidearm on me on Tennessee River, but evidently maybe that would have been better to have closer. But yeah, so I kind of did what I did. I ended up getting to the boat. Danny was going trying to get light. I was trying to do something. I ended up, by the time he got the lights on, I had my pistol, and I was able just to kind of shoot a shot to scare off whatever it was, just because I didn't know if it, I think it startled us, we startled it, and I didn't want any chance of anything else happening or going on, because I didn't know if it had seen us, or, I just didn't know what the scenario was, so we did that. So
we debated for a while. We kind of stood there. It was like, it wasn't really scary. It was more like, what in the world just happened?
Yeah, so fast.
And it moved. The thing moved, like you said, like a feline. It was 2 bounds, 3 bounds. It was into the woods, gone. And so we kind of decided, let's think about it. Let's reassess. Should we stay here? Should we not? And we landed at that conclusion of maybe not, because if we were near its den, it would probably come back, and I think, would we be able to sleep well? And, not that we were worried about it getting us, but it's just kind of like, was it worth sitting around and being woken up by it again or being worried about it? And we thought we could easily find another spot, too.
Yeah, at this point, we thought, hey, this is no big deal. We don't want to disturb the animal. The animal could disturb us again. Like, it's better just to, not take chances, especially we were super remote. We didn't have great service out there. We're a good hour from, maybe a little over an hour from the boat ramp. And at pitch black night, it's not like I can be going very fast out there. So we were really a couple hours from the ramp.
Yeah.
And there was not another soul out there. So I didn't feel super safe just saying, all right, let's chance it, not knowing what it is. Because I've heard of everything from mountain lions to bears to everything else that are out there. They've been caught on camera and all that stuff. So I was like, just not worth it. So we packed up. And with the intention of basically just finding another spot. So we started I said, let's not go any farther. Let's start finding a spot back towards where we come from. I knew a couple spots from previous stuff, but basically it just didn't happen. It was pitch black. It was probably, by the time we were loaded up and back to any area that was possible to camp, it had to be what? 1?
Yeah, it was
probably 1 o'clock, 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was after midnight.
So it was super, super late. There was obviously no one else out there. And then the one spot that I thought, hey, we might have a shot at camping here, was literally underwater. Yeah. So by this point, I think it was almost 3 a.m., 2 a.m. or something. Yeah. By the time we got back to the ramp, we just said, okay, there's nowhere to camp. It was either camp on the boat or pack it up. And so we just chose, hey, not worth it. Let's just continue on. We've debated on making this video for a while now, and kind of it's an abrupt end, kind of weird, but I was like, hey, you know what? We'll share the story anyways. If nothing else, it'll be funny to look back on one day. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting night. I've gone back out there since. Gone by that area. I haven't gone back to it. I don't know that I will. Not really interested in figuring out what's there. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours, maybe thousands of hours outdoors in my life. And I've had a couple weird calls, come in contact with a couple bear and stuff like that. But nothing ever where I felt, that was a little different from the fact that I felt like it was actively seeking harm. It was trying to get to us at a high rate of speed and do something. So it's just a little different. It wasn't, like Danny said, it wasn't necessarily scary. I didn't have time to get scared. It was just so immediate. It was just like a snap, and it all happened. And then kind of after the fact, we were looking back. The longer we kind of went over it of what happened, I was like, that thing really was trying to jump on us, whatever it was. So kind of made it interesting. But coming up in the future, we'll go ahead and throw a little bit in. I've got a group, so I guess it's 2 years ago now. Excuse me. 2 years ago now, we went on a Catoosa hunting trip with me and some guys and my dad. And so this year, we kind of took a year off last year. It's been tough hunting up there, and it just didn't come together to make it happen. So this year, we are trying to get everything lined up. We're going to be going to Big South Fork. This has been about 6 months worth of planning, and we're about a month and some change out. Lots of licensing, lots of all kinds of stuff. It's a national park there, national forest.
Yeah, it's a national park. Yep.
I think it's national park. Yeah. It's a real busted up. It runs all the way in East Tennessee. It's super mountainous there. Runs partially in Tennessee, partially in Kentucky, but we'll be doing a deer / boar hunt and videoing a lot. We're actually packing in. We're going to camp out in the mountains. We're looking at 30-degree temps. We've got 5 guys going. A lot of gear, a lot of prep work, tons of prep work. And yes, it should be interesting, but stay tuned for that. We're going to be scouting in 2 weeks. I'll probably shoot a little footage there and throw something up of Big South Fork, just kind of get everybody familiar, and then with the intent of finding a camping spot. So hopefully we can find a good camping spot, and then that way when we go on our actual hunt, we can pack into that spot and kind of put us a little bit ahead of the game to know where we're going. And if we can find a sign, that's a great bonus. So appreciate watching. If you've made it this far, thanks again. Subscribe. We'll be making a decent amount more content. We've got a lot of kind of some new people coming through the channel. It's always open. I love meeting people and hunting, fishing, and outdoors. If it's anything from throwing a fishing pole out to going on a drive or anything outdoors wise, I'm all about it. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it.